What is going on? What is going on? It's your boy Julien Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, here to take the fear out of fitness and help you become the best you. We are going to take off and class is in session. Now, first of all, I'm in a bad mood. Let's start with that. It's hotter than the devil's gooch. And y'all are getting on my damn nerves. Now, normally I don't start off like this because I'm usually in a good mood. I'm happy. I mean, school's out and all of school is out for me, so I'm happy about that. But let me tell you what I'm not happy about. And what I'm not happy about is the state of affairs that we are in this society. And I'm talking across the spectrum. Normally, I will address my black brothers and sisters first, my Hispanic brothers and sisters first. But this particular conversation is ultimately universal. And this is the opinion of me, nobody else. If anybody else feels this way, do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat when you hear it. Some of y'all do not, should not, and bet not have any damn kids. I'm going to say that one more time. Some of y'all should not, bet not have any damn kids. Why am I saying this? Because for a multitude of reasons, shout out to Spoken Reasons. Spoken Reasons is the comedian that you once knew back in the day who did the skit with Emmanuel Hudson called Asking All Them Questions, Asking All Them Questions, Asking All Them Questions, making statements, assuming, right? I don't make the faces that good. But Emmanuel Hudson was the actual star of it, but Spoken Reasons was the person that put Emmanuel Hudson on the platform. And they killed it. And now they're famous because of it. But Spoken Reasons has a channel here on Facebook where he posts all kinds of reactions to videos that he saw. And this particular video that he saw, was about a woman who refuses to put her stepson out the house because his stepfather wanted him out the house. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna go into the video itself, and then I'm going to get serious.
That's my son. That's my only son.
At some point, he got to go.
Never no time.
I mean, at some point,
never no time. Never no time.
Well, count Crusin.
No, you talking about you grown and you gotta go somewhere. I told him you understand you ain't going no damn way. You go when you get ready.
Man, I just feel at some point you need to make your own way. That's what I be wanting to walk through the house naked sometime, and there you go. So I mean, what?
No, if anything, you can go, not him. How about that? What about that?
Bills in here. You don't tell me where I can go.
But the thing is, like, why do I gotta fix my mama house? Like, why do I gotta do my mama house?
Period.
Man, you damn near 40 years old. Damn near it's time to go. I mean, at what point?
I'm 29 now.
Well, that's pretty 10
Well, you
years
know what?
away.
When I met you, you was living with your mama.
Man, please.
You was living with your mama.
Come on,
You was living with your mama. Now
I'm
you gonna tell
22
me.
years old.
Now you gonna tell me because he 29.
I ain't getting up. I'm not getting up.
Man, you got to go.
I'm not going nowhere.
You got to go.
And you ain't gotta go nowhere.
You know what? Damn, they ain't gonna pay no bills either. Then, damn it. Now, how do you feel about that? You don't want him to go? I won't pay the bills.
He gonna continue to pay
He
the
got to
bills.
go, man. See, we arguing stuff about stuff.
But at the end of the day, all you gotta do is tell me to help. I ain't saying nothing. Like,
Man, you a grown-ass man. You supposed to know man, the garbage over field. You supposed to know to take that outside. Come on, man. I don't have to tell you all this stuff, man.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. So, Because I don't even. So here's the deal, right? Let me explain something. The problem that I'm having with y'all is this. It's simple. Some of y'all are seriously codependent and also selfish as all hell with your children. Now check this out. On one end, you got a mom who's like, he ain't got to get out, this, that, the other, the other, that, this, the other, that, this. And you got a stepfather like, I pay all the bills in this house, and your man is not doing what he needs to do to, maintain, living status here. I want to be able to walk around my house naked sometimes. And he ain't going nowhere. This, that, the other, that, this. Don't worry, people. I was late myself. So, we were a little bit late today because I had to take care of a little bit of a snafu in the house. So it's all good. But I literally just got started. So here's the deal. You got a woman on one end being totally clingy to her son to where he's not necessarily moving through life as a man. Then you got a stepfather who's being selfish on one end, but also has a point on another. Stepfather wants stepson out because he's 29 years old and he ain't paying for nothing. He's eating up all the food. Daddy pays for everything. He don't want to do nothing past his face unless he's been told to do it. And stepfather fed up. But then stepfather's fed up because he doesn't get to walk around his house as he sees fit because there are people in his house that are adults that don't necessarily need to see him in the light that he wants to be presented in, which I totally understand. I'm an empty nester myself. I don't got no kids in the house. I want to do what I want to do sometimes. But let me tell you this. As long as your children are being respectful, productive members of society, and they are taken care of themselves while moving through life with a financial plan to move and advance the nature of the family, they can stay with me as long as they need to. I'm going to say that one more time. As long as my children are productive, focused on what they're doing, actually making some money, and has a financial plan to get themselves to a position to advance the family as a whole, and I'll get to the explanation of advancing the family as a whole, they can stay with me as long as they want to. Because here's the deal. What some of y'all don't think about is your kids are going to have kids eventually, right? What you really don't want your kids to do is dump your grandkids in your lap saying, I can't take care of them. Here they go. Because I'm about to give them up for adoption. And you ain't going to see them again. Do you want that? Is that what you really want to happen? Or do you want your family structure to remain intact in some semblance or form? Because I'll tell you, what you don't want as a grandparent is to become a parent again as a grandparent. Now, in terms of supporting your children and watching your grandchildren, because you are fully retired, you're home, and you're watching your grandchildren while they are both school-aged and not so school-aged. But when they're out of school, you watch them. But when they're in school, they're at school. But when they're not so school-aged and your child has to go back to work, son or daughter, has to go back to work, and you're home, you're happening to watch them, that is for the advancement of the family. Because who's better to teach my kids anything than the mother of my mother, unless they are incompetent. unless they are a generational trauma waiting to happen. If they are not that, then why not? I'm sure most grandparents are willing to help their children out in that fashion. But what I won't say is if my kids are being disrespectful, if my kids are being wantonly defiant as children up until young adulthood, now you could go. You got to go. It, in fact, does take a village to take care of your children and take care of your family. Nobody's going to make it off the island by themselves. Even if your child makes it off the island because of the hard work and dedication and effort that they put into school and their education and their knowledge building, who set them up for that? Hopefully, if you're a competent parent, you did. Hopefully, you instilled some sort of values in them that they got over the fence. Now, if you didn't help them an inch and they got off the quote unquote plantation by their damn self, they don't owe you nothing. Truthfully, they don't owe you anything after they leave the house, because guess what? You brought them here. But I'm going to get to that in a minute, because I'm going to show you the comments, because this is what I said. There's a big difference between putting him out because he's disrespectful as opposed to simply he's moving to get his life in order. Paying bills in the house isn't a necessity so long as he's paying for his necessities. I don't know which version of the story this is. Well, now I know. Right? It seems like people are just fed up. But let me show you some of these responses. Once you get to a certain age and you're living with your parents still, you need to pay bills. That don't make no sense. That's a grown-ass man who's been pacified to the point he don't even want for himself. How do you know that? How do you know that? You're making an assumption, right? The only part of this video that I clearly saw that is problematic as a parent, stepfather or not, is that he is eating things without replenishing, and he is not taking it upon himself to maintain the home that he lives in. Only two problems that I personally see. All right? So here's my replies, right? I'm gonna show you what I replied to, because it's crazy. So I said that particular grown-ass man is being pacified, which is true. He has no responsibilities in the home, and he eats everything and uses everything in the house, and he does not contribute at all. Like I said above, paying bills isn't a necessity as long as it pays for his necessities. Times are hard out here, and we need to set our children up for success. If I raise my child right, he, in this case, knows how to cook and clean up. If he shares responsibilities and genuinely saving money, he can enjoy life experiences and be financially ready to leave the house. Making our children simply pay bills that we would already have without them is irresponsible parenting. Let me explain what I mean by that. What you gonna do when your kids leave the house? Is your mortgage paid up? First of all, is your mortgage paid up? No? Then guess what you're gonna have when they leave? A mortgage. You think that when your kid turns 18, electricity all of a sudden becomes free? Do you think when your kid becomes 18, all of a sudden electricity automatically gets reduced by half? Unless you got a lot of kids. But even if you don't have a lot of kids, you got 5 kids. Let's say you have 5 kids. Let's say you're just like Bill Cosby in the Cosby Show, and you got 5 kids, and one leaves the house to go to college, right? You still got 4 of them still living there using your stuff. Then all of a sudden you got 3. Then all of a sudden one of them comes back. Then all of a sudden they all leave the house because they're all in college or enjoying their married life. But here's the deal. They're all gone, right? That was like literally the premise of the last 2 seasons of the Cosby Show. They couldn't get him out the house. However, those bills are still there. You still got to eat. You still got to cook. You still got to take the trash out. All of that stuff still has to be done without your kids. Now, here's the kicker. This is the part where I also have a problem, but I'm going to get into that in a minute. So this woman responds to me going, so at what point does he grow up? Most of us ladies don't want him. We want partners, not adult children to finish raising. Nobody asked you to. Nobody asked you to. First of all, nobody asked you to go raise an adult child. What we're suggesting is, and what I'm suggesting is that times are financially hard. My child, in this case, my son, in this case, is not financially ready to take on a family or a serious, meaningful relationship. Let him peruse about, figure out what he's doing, know that he is moving accordingly to get to that status. So let me put it to you this way. Average age of a college graduate is 22 to 23 years old, right? So let's say at 18 they had a job and they worked in college. They worked throughout college. They either went to college close to home or it's a relative close drive from college to home. So they'll rather commute to work and to home and go to college all in the same area. They work at 18 years old. They're making on average $1,500 a month. Let's see. Out of that $1,500 a month, they save $1,000 every month. They save $1,000. They tell you, Mom, Pop, I got a financial plan. I'm going to save $5,000. I'm saving $1,000 every month. So that way, by the time I'm 30, I will have $144,000 saved. And that's assuming I have not made any advances in my career path between the ages of 18 and 30. Right? So now between 18 and 30, I'm saving $1,000 a month. Then if I see that I can save more, I will continue to save more. I anticipate if I am working the way that I'm working and the way that I'm doing what I'm doing in the field of study that I'm in, I will be able to save close to $200,000 by the time I'm 30. If I see that my child is moving in that direction and I see that my child is in earnest every year, annually, showing me their bank statements, letting me know that they're not just simply here using up my stuff. And also, by the way, they're not using up all my stuff. They're just in my house. Why do they have to leave? Why do they have to leave? Because I don't know if you've seen the price of rent lately. I don't know if you've seen the price of an actual mortgage, if straight no cash lately. I don't know if you realize how much does it cost to actually try to live an actual life out here. But do you want to set your kids up for success or for failure? Do you want them struggling with debt and be underneath mounds and mounds of debt when they're your age? Remember, these are the same people that are probably going to have to look out for you when you're old. And if they're not in a financial position to look out for you, even when they're using your money, where are you going to be? That's the part that y'all don't think about. Why do y'all have kids? Do y'all have kids just to tell them what to do? And point and tell them go get your sock that's off, that's literally mere reaches away from your legs? Go get the remote when it's literally, you just roll over and get it off the nightstand yourself if you're just rolled over? Is that what you have kids for? Is it so that you could just have a punching bag for the next 18 years? Is it somebody that you could just control and manipulate for the next 18 years. Is that what a child is for you? But I got more. I got more. So I said, and this is why many of you will be alone. Because many of you lack insight and foresight into the plan of a man, an actual man. At no time did I advocate for the man to merely live off of his mother. I am advocating for not setting your children up for failure and create generational wealth. Just because he lives with his family doesn't mean he's a bum. If a lawyer is living with his family and is saving the majority of his salary to actually own a home, he isn't going to tell you that. Meaning the female that is supposed to be his romantic interest. I don't have to tell you that. I don't have to tell you that I'm saving up my money to buy a house. If I tell you I'm a lawyer, but I live with my parents, it's none of your business why I live there. So long as I'm not disrespecting my family's home trying to do grown folk things in my parents' house. It's just weird. Right? That's just poor decorum. But if I'm moving accordingly, how can I not live with my family? Some of y'all don't understand and some of y'all lack the vision. Some of y'all ladies lack the vision. Because a man lives with his mama doesn't mean he's a bum. Just because a girl lives with her mom and dad doesn't mean she's lazy and has no ambition in life. They might be on a plan. But I digress. He's going to test your faith. He's going to want to see where your head is at. Something many of you lack. He owns a home with no debt. Is he now worth dating and eventually marrying? He won't choose you because you are waiting at the finish line. You're not willing to run the race with him. So keep being a bystander and not get active. That's my response to her. Honey, I own one house, will inherit the other soon, and I'm ready to retire. Okay, so you're getting your parents' house and you own one. Cool. My children have children. Okay, congratulations. The Marine will retire at 39 and start a second career. Okay, and guess what? Marines has a place to live until he's ready to move out of the barracks. Genius. Let's start with that. But anyway, the son is engaged to his doctor fiance. We did just fine. That's fine. Cool. This is not how we went about it, but to each their own. I, sir, chose alone because men my age are nuts. Is it them or is it you? Thus my time. Travel, see this country, take travel jobs, go on some motorcycle trips, anything I want, because I did my job. There's a theme with this, people. Listen, keep paying attention. Keep paying attention. Go on some motorcycle trips, anything I want because I did my job. Same goal, different route, nothing wrong with it. Stay sane. I turned around and said, do you enjoy everything you have? I have too. I didn't kick my kids out. They left when they were ready, still married. Let's step with that. So then this person got on the chat, and this is where y'all got my ass lit up today. And I am pissed. So here we go, because I want y'all to see this. If you're 29, you better be paying half of all the bills. The rent, the food, the heat, the electric. You need to be paying all half of everything if you are 29 and living at home. I said, for me, neither son nor daughter has to pay half of my bills. My bills. Now, if I'm having to feed them and they don't contribute to their own lifestyle, then they have to live their lives somewhere else or elsewhere. But I would not make my son pay bills in my house that I need to live in myself. Basic courtesy and self-care while building their own wealth is the price for living in my house. They just have to be productive. That's all. Imagine me enriching myself off of my own child's back. Never. How do you expect them to get ahead of... So I asked her, how do you expect to get them ahead of the curve? Making a crap ton of money? 10% of all people achieve that. Want them to be able to upgrade their lifestyle? How if they're giving half of it, if not most of it, to you? Tough Sugar. They need to pay half of the bills or move out and pay all in their bills. I'm sorry, but ain't no adult child of mine is gonna live in my house and not pay half of the bills. Not happening. If I gotta go to work and bust my ass, I'll say that. They need to as well if I got to pay bills. As a 29-year-old, my responsibility to support him is over. That free ride ends at 18. Sorry for you. The future is on them. And after all the money parents spend on their child missing while they grow up, when is my money mine again? When do I get my house back? I'll tell you, the day they turn 18, legally and adult. Do you see the overarching theme? I did my job. When is my time? When do I get to do what I want? Keep going. So let me understand you clearly. You procreated so you can sacrifice, hopefully, to raise your kids, hopefully, and then put them in a financial struggle because you struggled or are struggling. I didn't say they don't work. I didn't say they aren't working towards something. I said they don't have to pay bills for something I already have to pay myself. I made the mortgage. I'm the person that decided to get the mortgage, right? Whether I had to struggle, finance it, borrow, whatever. Whatever I had to do to get that, I went and got it, right? It's mine. I'm the one who has to live in it. If I got to pay half the bills, you best damn rest assured I get to do what the hell I want in it. I'm going to tell you that straight up. As a person who lived with his mom for a little while, if I'm paying half of anything, you bugging. If I got to give up half my check, let's put it like this. If I got to give up half my check, I'm doing what I want. If I got to give up most of my check because I'm paying half the bills, you better not say nothing to me as your son and what I do in quote unquote your house. Because it's not just your house, it's mine now. It's our house now. Because I pay bills in it, right? I pay bills in it. Not I pay for my expenses in it. I pay bills in it. So therefore, it's our house now. It ain't yours. It's ours. I don't give a damn if my name is on the deed. I pay for this. But I digress. Still not about power for me, but let me get into this real quick. If my children are raised as I planned, they will reciprocate at times because they are appreciative of my efforts to put them in a better position in life. Otherwise, they can leave. Facts. I'm not trying to floss on the backs of my kids because what are you doing with that half rent? What do you do with the money? Wipe your ass with it? Go blow it on some lottery tickets? Drink it up? Go get yourself dressed down, made up, hair did? Fake nails, BBL on the way? What we doing? With half that money. Let's just say the average rent is $2,000 a month. Average rent is $2,000 a month, but then electricity is another $250. That's $125, so you're at $2,000 now. Gas, if the house takes gas. Water. By the time you look at gas utilities, you're looking at a whole $450. So that's what? $225? So you're at what would that be? $21.25? $21.25. Half that. Let's do the math on that. Half of $21.25. That's $1,065. Or $1,062. So they got a cough of $1,062 of their hard-earned money at the age of 18 and beyond. Do you understand that the average 18 to 22-year-old only makes $2,000 a month? After taxes? After taxes. Okay? So you literally are taking half their check, how are they going to live any kind of semblance of a life? Buy clothes, do stuff. Because now that you've taken half, and then they still have to pay for a car, insurance, gas, repairs, if any, and I guarantee you there are going to be some, and has to feed themselves more than likely. Where's their money? What else do they have? How are they going to have money enough to progress? They're not at any time. You're stifling your child at that point. Oh yeah, pay all the bills. Yeah, now they're struggling out there. Mom, can I get some food? Or they come over and sneak over to the house every now and then and just snatch up all your food, all your leftovers. They're cleaning out your fridge because you got leftovers and they got to eat. Or they're doing something else, working themselves damn near to death, not working hard, mind you, working themselves to death. Why do you have to have 3 jobs at 18? What kind of life are you living? What life experiences are you developing according to that type of lifestyle? None. All you do is eat, shit, wipe your backside, go to bed, work. That's all you do. All you do. And all you got to show for it is that you get to put your head down in this place for 5.5 hours every day. I'm working my behind off to have a place to put a TV, to put a couple of chairs, to put a table, to put a bed, and lay in it for 5.5 hours a day. And then maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get 8 to 10 on the weekend. Cool. Can't afford a kid now. You want grandkids, don't you? Oh, you definitely ain't getting those. Want to know why Gen Z ain't having kids? Because of that. They ain't got no money to be affording kids. And they'll be damned if they're going to put themselves in a position of having to raise children with no finances, be in debt, be a quote unquote slave. But I digress. Let's keep going. I said, and you're not paying for their lifestyle. I said that before. And that's why people can't make it in this world. It matters because you are supposed to be the financial advancement of your family. Because, I'll get into that later. If you're pocketing the future of your offspring as a means of quote unquote revenge, it's sad and pathetic. So the electric bill that you will pay for without them there, the internet and cable you will pay if they're not there, or if it isn't important to you, they can pay for that. But it won't cripple them financially. Daycare, you made them come here. They didn't just show up on your couch. Food, see the last statement. I literally, for the third time, say I am not paying for their lifestyle. Food, clothes, car, activities included. They also have a plan on how to live in this world properly. Good luck with your life with your kids, because hopefully they earn a substantial amount of money so they can make it in this world without handing you their check. So she called me. Here we go. My bad. I forgot to read hers. First of all, what is it matter? What does it matter? But okay. What I or any parent was to do with half of their rent. It does matter. Because if they could have used that money to further enhance their ability to move out and never come back, all you've done is hinder them, and all you're doing is buying chinchilla jackets. All you doing is doing the most with they're watching you do the most with their money. They're watching you do the most with the money that they wish they could use to further enhance their lifestyle. Enhance the lifestyle. I'm not talking about go get an Escalade and live with your mom. I mean, now if you making bank like that, you could get an Escalade, live with me for what? You got 5 years at that point, my man. If you could afford an Escalade payment, you could be out my house in 5 years. Guaranteed. I don't want to hear no nonsense on that one, right? But I digress. and do whatever the hell I want with it. You're not lived in my house. You don't live in my house rent-free for 18 years. You lived in my house and you didn't pay a dime for food or clothes or for hygiene products. They didn't ask to be here. You brought them here. Why the hell do they have to pay for that? Or why the hell are they having to make up for that? But okay, I digress. Or water bills or heat bill and electric bills, cell phones, probably TV, cable, internet. You didn't pay for anything for 18 years. Do you see where I'm getting at when I told her she's on a revenge tour? It ends the day you turn 18. Well, daycare, school, clothes, toys, school activities by financial responsibilities. Whether you're ready or not my problem. I raised you. I gave you all the tools you needed to be successful. No, you didn't. Because if they were, okay, that means that means they're making six-figure salaries. If they're making six-figure salaries, then yes, they can rough it out for about 5 years in an apartment because it's not even half their salary. Rough it out in an apartment for 5 years. Buy a house, you're good. That's fine. I would be more than willing to accept that if my child is making that kind of money. But I'm going to get into that in a minute. And if you're not going to pay half the rent and half of all the bills, get out of my house. It's my house. Them, I don't know. It's my house. Them working towards something is not my problem. And it is not my financial burden to do so. And that's why I said, and this is why we can't make it in this world. I said, if you're pocketing the future of your offspring as a means of revenge, it's sad and pathetic. And this is where I said what I said, right? And she called me an idiot in one of them. And I turned around. I said, there's the first insult. Need I remind you what you said earlier, right? And I pointed it out. I quoted it. And she said, and it's not revenge, it's responsibility for being an adult. Simply saying I don't owe you anything when you turn 18. So, peep game. Peep game. They don't owe you anything when you're getting ready to die. They don't owe you anything if you're sick. They don't owe you anything if you're financially struggling and you're about to lose what you so-called worked your ass off for. They don't owe you nothing if that's your attitude about your children. They don't owe you nothing. Not a solitary thing. So remember how you was like, oh, they either pay half the bills to get out? Oh, check this out, Mom. If I got to turn around and loan you this money to keep your house or keep our house, you're signing the house over to me. I own it now. Or lose it. Which one do you want? Be out on the street or I own the house? Because they are now an adult. They managed to scratch, scrape, claw, and make something of themselves to where they are financially responsible. They have enough money to not only support themselves and a family, but they got a little bit of extra that they're trying to put away for their rainy day. But now guess what? You need some of their money to survive. Because something bad happened to you along the way. Something bad happened to you along the way where now you can't afford the lifestyle you have. Now what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Can't go hat in hand with to your son who you put out because they're 18 now and they're grown and I don't owe you jack. Can't go to them. Oh, you did it to your daughter too? Can't go to them either. Good luck with that. This right here is exactly why y'all shouldn't have children. Some of y'all just want these things, these little doppelgangers as an ornament of some sort. So I said, who said it was owed? I asked a question to you that I did not get an answer. Are you not about the advancement of your family? Show me anywhere in this thread where I disagreed with paying for their own things. Where in this diatribe, these last 42 minutes that I've been going off, where have I absolutely said any time that you have to pay for everything for your child, your adult child? I'll wait. I'll wait. Do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat if you think that you should put your kids out. Put a 1 in the chat if you think you should put your kids out at 18. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't agree with that. I'm not about to financially support adult children that I taught all the skills to take care of yourself. Nobody said you got to go wipe their backsides. Nobody said you got to go wipe the toilet seat down. Nobody said you got to go cleaning up the kitchen and the bathroom after them. Nobody said you got to do their laundry. Nobody said you got to turn around and, cook for them. Now, if you got to cook and you see that you got food enough for them to eat, hey, son, hey, daughter, did you eat today? No, I got food ready for you to go. Don't worry about paying me for it because that's not what it's for. I have enough food and I'm feeding my family. My family's still here in the house and I'm happy to have them. Here, eat. If my child is decent and good, they'll go, Mom, Pop, whomever. Yo, I bought home some steaks. Yo, I bought home some ground beef. I bought home some fish. I bought home some shrimp. I bought the rice. Every situation is different to a certain extent. If you are in, so let me put it like this. Again, if your child is disrespectful and not trying to advance in life, absolutely, go ahead. Do what you got to do. I'm not going to sit here and let you stress yourself out over a disrespectful, unappreciative child for the efforts that you have made over the last 18 years for them. Unless you didn't. But then even if you didn't, you might as well let them go because you wasn't doing anything for them anyway. But in all truth, if the situation is you are trying to live a certain life and you are in possession of your kids, because obviously, you have lifestyle issues. You might be divorced. You might be remarried. You might not be remarried. You might, have a disabled child. But as long as that child that is able-bodied and fully mentally capable of producing for themselves is taking care of themselves while trying to do more in their lifestyles to advance the family, because now if you own a home, if your child now owns a home, now that's 2 homes your family owns, your child owns. Or so now watch this. You have a son, you have a daughter. They both live at home until they saved up a significant amount of money to buy a home. They buy their home. They get married. Who owns the home? The son and the daughter, right? Not the spouses and your children, just your children own the home. So now, on top of that, they have their own equity in their own properties. Now they do the same thing for their children. So let's say, to start off, you started dirt poor. You, the parent, was dirt poor, but managed to scratch and scrape and managed to purchase a $200,000 house. It may not be much, but it's my house, right? So now that $200,000 house is mine. I paid for it for the last 30 years. I'm 60 now. Let's assume that 30 years old was the age I procured this home. 60 years old, it's my house outright now. I live in it. I've got about 25 to 30 years left in it, depending on the luck of my lifestyle. Right? 25, 30 years, guess what happens? My kid now owns their own home too. Because they don't have to put out a 30-year loan now. They might only have to put a 10-year loan out. So now, my kids have a house, I have a house. I become deceased. My spouse now lives in my house until They die. House goes to our kids. If the kids can't agree on the maintenance of the home, what will we do? Sell it, right? Cool. Sell it, split the proceeds evenly. Both my kids now have over $120,000 each added to their wealth. On top of the house that they just bought. So now my children now can do the same for their kids. Your house is a $500,000 house. My kid's house, meaning. My kid's house is now a $500,000 house. Now their kids live in it. In their home, in my kid's home. Until they're financially supportive of them. Now, obviously, if they have more wealth, hopefully the education was upgraded as well. And if the education was upgraded as well, their earning potential was upgraded as well. I give them the same amount of time. Let's say they make $60,000 a year getting out of college instead of $27,000, which is the average. But let's say they make $60,000 coming out of college. They live at home. You trying to tell me they can't save $30,000 a year? You trying to tell me they can't? Bet money they could. So for the next 10 years, they save $30,000 a year. They're spending $30,000. And that's assuming that they're living the life. But if they try to live even a little bit more struggly, they put in away $40,000 a year. So they put away $40,000 a year, and in the process of putting that $40,000 away, what in the world is going on? So, sorry about that. They put away $40,000 a year. In 10 years, they have a $400,000 home. And they're living in it, which means, guess what? They could also put away $40,000 a year after they bought the home. So they put away another $40,000 every year because they don't have a mortgage payment. So their lifestyle is upgraded. Buy a nicer car, wear nicer things, not be broke, and still save money. Because remember, they're making $60,000. They can live off of 20. They can live off of 20. Think about it. $20,000 a year is $2,000, is just under $2,000 a month. You trying to tell me that you cannot eat and maintain a lifestyle with $1,800 a month? Gas, insurance included? All right, let's even be fair. Okay, fine. I'll even be nice. Back to 30. I'll go back to 30. You trying to tell me they can't save $30,000 a year now on that lifestyle with a $400,000 house that they don't have rent, they don't have a mortgage for? At 32 years old, they don't have a mortgage. 32 years old, your child doesn't have a mortgage. Now they are seeking, male or female, a wife or a husband. Dual incomes, or, wait for it, traditional household. Doesn't matter who stays home. And when I say traditional, I mean somebody's home, somebody works. That's it. Which means your grandchildren have a better chance of success because the parents are educating your children from day one to school age, which means that the kids will come in ready to understand what is being taught and be more advanced in their learning, which means your child, your grandchildren in this case, will not be struggling, which means their earning potential is even higher. Oh, by the way, y'all, if it's a non-traditional household, guess what? You're saving all of your money, pooling it together. Guess what? You're talking about $60,000 a year being saved between two people. And oh, by the way, one spouse can handle all of the bills by themselves. But to the advancement of the children and the advancement of the family lifestyle, they pool their money together. Now you're talking about a $120,000 household that only has $3,000 in bills. Now you do the same thing for those kids. So now you upgrade your house because you've been saving up all this money and upgrade your house. So now you live in a $1 million house now. Your kids live in a $1 million house now. Correction. Your kids live in a $1 million house and now their kids stay at home. Hopefully they advance their lifestyle. Now only to do what? Save up $500,000. Buy their own starter home. $500,000 is a really nice house. They now turn around. They don't have any rent. They don't have a mortgage. They don't have any bills other than electricity, gas, water, internet, cell phone maybe. You think that's going to cost them their whole paycheck if their lifestyle has advanced beyond their parents? If you educated them properly, they won't be stupid with money. Now, will they? So now on top of that, they have a $500,000 house, better than mom and dad's. Actually, it won't be better than mom and dad's, half of mom and dad's. But now they're saving up. Let's say they're now a six-figure person. You trying to tell me they're not saving $70,000 a year, 80, maybe, I'll even be kind, $65,000 a year? They're saving $65,000 a year single. Now your grandkids are saving $65,000 annually working in the field of study that they chose to work in or the enterprise that they chose to go into and makes six-figure salaries. In less than another 5 years, they can purchase a new home, bigger and nicer home, have a family, start and repeat the process. But y'all are too damn selfish to do that. So let me keep going with what I said. Living at home rent-free respectfully is what I'm advocating for. Unless your child works for Google, how is your child at 22 going to afford to be financially stable depending on where you live? Rent for a studio apartment where I'm at is $1,200 a month. Studio. Average income for a 22-year-old is $27,000 before taxes. Let's say they keep $24,000. That's $2,000 a month. How they got $800 left. How are they going to advance on their own? They're not. And with the way women are looking at men right now, you don't want to be a dude that only got $800 in his pocket to live on. But anyway. She said something about people like me or something. She said some really stupid stuff. What does that even mean? This is why people can't get ahead. Because if they saved $1,000 a month for 12 years, they can save $144,000 for a home. That's just over 1/4 of the price. Which still puts them at a $1,800 payment. If they're making $3,000 a month, that's still half of the money that they make. But at least they'll be able to spend that kind of money on a home because you put them in a financial position to be successful. Now, if they wipe their ass with the money, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I gave you the opportunity to save yourself, but you decided to do whatever the hell you did with it, and you blew it. I'm not about to let you just sit back and come back and move in with me just because you gambled your money away. As opposed to you saved in earnest and you put some stuff up and you did what you were supposed to do and you hustle. Now, if you lost your job and you're struggling, hopefully, if I was a responsible parent, I got some money put up. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to help you make your rent payments. But what you're going to definitely do is pay me back when you get a job. And you're going to get a job soon. If not two. Now you got to hustle extra hard because we're not losing this house. Either that or you're going to sign the house over to me. Now, I'm the parent saying that, right? Roles are reversed. And once you get back on your feet, you want this house back? Pay me for it. How much money have I paid on this house so far? Oh, I've paid $10,600 on it. You owe me $10,600. When you pay me back the $10,600 and continue to pay the rent, I will sign the house back over to you lock, stock, and barrel. It's contracted, written out for you, understood. Yes, ma'am or sir. Boom. You're still being a parent. You're still raising your children right. You're holding them accountable, and you're still keeping them safe. That is your responsibility as a parent. Be damned if you're 18 or not. Sometimes you find yourself in a financial position where you can't help your kids, and that is one of the most defeating positions to be in life. Trust me, I know. I don't know what that means, but not my problem, not my responsibility to raise my adult kids or their kids. So again, you want to argue with me about not having adult kids, leave the house or pay bills. First of all, I'm going to guess your level of education is low because you're put in periods where they do not belong. Is not going anywhere because I do not believe an adult child, especially one that's 29, should be living at home without paying half the bills. Then this is what I responded to her. Then you honestly shouldn't have had them. You are not about family. You are selfish. If you have adult children, show them this. If they're young, I'll pray for them. If they even talk to you. And that was the end of my conversation with her. So let me land this plane. Let me land this plane because this is where it's going to get real. You don't owe your kids anything. You owe them everything. You are the one who laid down with another individual, got the turkey baster inserted inside of you, whether it would be a biological one or a mechanical one, and decided to procreate, to duplicate your DNA with someone else's. Create a human body and bring it out into this world. And guess what? They didn't ask to be here. You're tired of them. You don't like them. You don't want to deal with them. You brought them here. Whose fault is it? Theirs or yours? You have a responsibility to set your children up for the absolute success. Now, again, if your kids are, the Paul brothers or something like that, and they're out making mad money, of course they don't have to live at home. I'm not suggesting that. Or shoot, let them live at home. They might be the NBA, baseball, hockey, football type, and actually pay your house off. Buy you a car. Because mom and dad, you sacrificed so much for me. I love you so much. Boom. I'm not saying that that's what you do it for, but I'm saying you do it because you love them. Like I said, if they want to be disrespectful and do what they want to do in your house when you've asked them to follow simple rules and be decent and appropriate in my house, and they refuse to do so, they could go. They got to find their own place. But prior to that, you owe them everything. And if you see how this economy is working right now, you see how things are not progressing. Pay scales are not increasing with the rate of inflation nor with the cost of living. And you want to put your kids out because you want to get your groove on. You want to get your party on. I could say the same about you, parent. maybe you should have got your act together. Maybe you should have did some more stuff with your money that you wouldn't have to be worried about whether or not you have an adult child living with you or not. Because maybe if your finances was handled correctly, maybe, just maybe, you would have some semblance of fun outside of your kids after the age of 18. You're supposed to have a life when your kids turn 18. Nobody's suggesting that you just sit at home waiting for your kids to come home. They're 18. As long as they ain't bringing drama to me, I shouldn't care. As long as they ain't bringing nonsense to my house, I shouldn't care. As long as they're remotely taking care of themselves while moving significantly with a plan, I should not care. If there's a financial setback, we need to have a conversation. Mom, Dad, I know I told you the plan was for me to be out at 30, but here's the deal. I am exactly $30,000 short from my goal. I need one more year. You know, I had gotten injured last year and I had to go pay those medical bills, and I was off your insurance, but I had my own insurance, but I had to take care of this rehab for my leg, and it set me back 30 grand. I need one more year. What, you're not going to give it to them because they turned 30 and they're now crossing over their agreement? Kick rocks. You suck as a parent. Give them the opportunity to save themselves. Give them the opportunity to put themselves in the best position possible so that way you don't have to save them anymore. I don't know how many times my family saved me when I was struggling, back against the wall, about to lose everything. But you know what? What, my mom is going to say, at least he wasn't home? Guess what? You have a unique opportunity now. I just gave you the blueprint, people. Take my advice or leave it. But let me explain something to you. If you do not see the opportunity to uplift your family, create generational wealth through your family by simply not being greedy and wanting to assimilate half of your child's wealth into yours, you shouldn't have had them in the first place. And I'm not going anywhere to say it. If you're the type of parent that can't wait for your kid to be 18 so you could throw them out the house, you shouldn't have had them in the first place. If all you're looking for is a fat payday, you shouldn't have had those kids. If you couldn't educate your children properly to the point where they could become successful in a reasonable period of time, you shouldn't have had them anyway. And I'm going to leave it at that. So guys, do me a favor. If you lasted this long, do me a favor, put a like and hit the subscribe button, because it'll help the algorithm, and therefore it will get my information out to more people out in the world. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.